On a mic. Now, me go view. Now, that one point for me. Me suppose no come. I'm doing it these days into the better match. Apart from Jesse match, me now that he will be a war. Jesse no come to go to me pine me jive.
Okay, guys, what's up, guys? Welcome to Ashile Sports. It is Ashile with Top Africa, Top Radio Africa, with Africa Arena, Sports Arena. So let's make it happen and a massive. Today there are a lot of news coming on your way, and we all know how it takes to make it happen. With me is Kofi, and we will be digesting for sure games that happened this weekends for you. Remember, Champions League is also on your way this time round, and hey, we don't know how it's gonna work out and how things are really going to be working for sure. But whatever be the case, this is a massive architect of sports that we need to make it happen. I don't know how you think things really happened this weekend, but for sure, Chelsea draw against Bournemouth. Arsenal lost their game, and it wasn't easy. Arteta said it's not easy to take that defeat as well, but it happened. That is football for you, and that is game for you. So, Kofi, this weekend, what do you think about this weekend Premier League?
Yeah, I think the results to me, most of them were not shocking. With regards to, with the exception of that of Arsenal at the Villa Park. You know, when Aston Villa plays at home, it's a completely different ball game. And then if you watch the game like myself, I watched the game from head to toe. One could actually realize that at the latter part of the game, for the last quarter or for the last 15 minutes of the game, one could actually realize that Aston Villa was mounting a lot of pressure on Arsenal. So it wasn't surprising that at the latter part of the game, they were able to come through or they were able to win the game without mishap. So for me, it wasn't really surprising. Arsenal wasn't at their best, and then Aston Villa actually proved that when they are playing at Villa Park, it's a completely different ball game. And then we have Crystal Palace against Fulham at the Cottage. If you watch the game critically too, you will see that Fulham was playing a very tactical game that day. They scored a goal which was sadly disallowed by VAR. It was a very nice goal that was scored by Fulham, and then later on, Jean-Philippe Mateta of Crystal Palace and the others actually pulled the winner for Crystal Palace at the Cottage Rave. There was quite a Chelsea drawing against Bournemouth. I think that was the highlight of the Premier League that day. Chelsea's Enzo Maresca's Chelsea drawing against Bournemouth at the Turf Moor. That should tell you that after our defeat at Elland Road by Leeds 3-1, and then we drew against Bournemouth, it should tell you that the Chelsea team is still in transition. The team is not really good yet. So I think after the game against Barcelona, I had people saying that team na ye, which I
It's like you are taking Everton. You are taking Everton into.
Oh yes, we are just wrapping up. We are just doing an overview of the score.
We'll just go into details with
of course.
Each game.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That the viewers will enjoy their way into for
Yes,
sure. But
and then I think one of the matches that didn't surprise that really came as a surprise was Sunderland against Manchester City.
yeah, I was really surprised.
You know, I was thinking that the Black Cats this time were going to prove much more a tougher opponent against one of the Premier League contenders. But it turns out that the minds of Manchester City, the wrath of Manchester City, at the Etihad Stadium, the Black Cats couldn't contain that wrath. So yes, they lost the game by 3-0, and that shows you how good Pep Guardiola's side is. And to credit Sunderland, I think with all the big teams that they've played this season, they've actually held everybody to a tough match. I think they beat Chelsea, they held Arsenal to a draw, and then I don't know whether they've played. I don't think they've played Tottenham, but Chelsea and Arsenal, they really held us apart. So yes, it was a very enticing week for the Premier League. Some of the results were unexpected, others were expected. Brighton drawing, sitting at home at the American Express Stadium, drawing with the losing side. I mean, the relegation side, West Ham United. So for me, yes, some of the results were surprising. Others, they were not really surprising that much.
They were not really surprising that much for sure. And remember, Liverpool. They didn't actually work well for Liverpool this weekend, and we all know how Liverpool are struggling this season with Arne Slot. A lot of people, or a lot of football fans, or Liverpool fans, are very, very disappointed with the performance of Liverpool this days. But then, Kofi, it's like Mohamed Salah might not be playing for Liverpool again, which he's being the scapegoat. And it's not using him as scapegoat, according to Mohamed Salah, because the game against the weekend game against Leeds United, they were leading by 2-0. Leeds United came on, they scored a late goal, which was 3-2, and then in the end, Leeds United, that minute, Leeds came on and equalized that goal. After the game, Mo Salah had a personal interview where he got mentioned that now his relationship with Arne Slot, that is Liverpool coach, is broken. So as it stands right now, he doesn't know his future, whether he'll be going or he'll be staying. And he has done so much for this club. For the management and the coach to treat him that way wasn't fair. And he made reference of Harry Kane. You know, in his Tottenham days, there was a time he wasn't scoring, but they still back him. Oh, Harry Kane, it will come, goals will come. Yet it came. This season, Mohamed Salah didn't start the season well like last season. But do you think Arne Slot is just putting the blame on him?
You see, I firmly believe that errors do come to an end. And then when errors do come to an end, people just find ways and means to, share a portion blames on people. But in my vivid opinion, what I think is that generally the overall Liverpool team performance is abysmal, and Salah is not the only person to be blamed for whatever it is that the Liverpool team is going through right now. The only reason is that, you see, Salah is a very top player. If you look at the numbers very well, he's one of the most successful players ever to play, African players to ever play in the Premier League. And he's one of the most successful forwards ever to play in the Premier League, if you are going according to the numbers. But as I said earlier on, errors do come to an end. And if you look at the quality and then the intensity with which Liverpool plays, and the expectations of their fans every season to deliver day in, day out. So if you are playing at the top flights and then you are not delivering and people are expecting you to deliver, I mean, I believe it's just the natural, the fight of life response of the human being, just to oppose blame because the expectations are not being met. Yes, he has a point that in the case of Harry Kane, Tottenham rallied behind Harry Kane and said that, it's just a matter of time and then the goal scoring will come. But it is Liverpool, and then their modus operandi is quite different. So what I would say is that you leave when the applause are high. Salah has done his part. I think it's time for him to exit the team, just like the others did. The likes of Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah, Gigi Wijnaldum. That was the era of Mohamed Salah. That era has come to an end.
So
and then
you believe Mohamed Salah cannot actually change?
No. The issue at hand is that it is not the Mohamed Salah that is the issue. It is the overall performance of the team.
So why Arne Slot is singling out?
But you see, for me,
a big player of his caliber, even if you are benching him on a game, you need to call him aside to actually speak with him, to let him understand the reason why you are benching him.
That is your opinion. That's not a fact.
Every big player in a game or in a club, before you bench him, you need to let him out. Even not even big players. There are a lot of players. You are
just stating your opinion. So I don't think that's a fact. I am the coach. I am the one responsible for the team. So whatever happens, the player is not going to get sacked. I'm the one going to get sacked.
Look, this time football, it's not like those days where you just pick your big player and bench him without communicating to you.
Of course, I'm not saying you don't have to communicate. But as to whether the player should start the match or not, that power resides in the coach. You understand my point? For communicating, yes. I mean, today we have according to Salah. According to Salah, right?
And of course,
but have you heard? No. Have you heard the side of Ancelotti? We shouldn't make these stories. Sometimes people just would love to blame their frustrations on people. Would like to just shift their frustrations on people. Yes, we all know he's not performing. Yes, we all know. I mean, it's not going well for Liverpool. But if Salah also comes and then openly says that his relationship with Ancelotti is broken, it looks as if he's also trying to apportion blames on Ancelotti. You understand my point? He is the gaffer. He is the coach of the team. He's the one responsible for the team. So whatever happens, he is the one who is going to get blamed, and then he's the one responsible for the team. So if I see that, look, at this particular juncture, you are not fit enough to play the game, so I am dropping you off, I'll have to communicate to you. Oh, I think that your form, your morale is that, so I'm not going to play you this match, and then I will drop you off. But as to whether you have to play or not, the onus or the power resides in the coach. So I don't think Ancelotti has done anything wrong by putting Salah on the bench. I don't think so. It is his right. That is the prerogative of the coach. You understand my point? So for Salah, I think he just has to come to terms with the fact that errors do come to an end, and then his era has ended. You understand? So he should just pack his things and then leave when the applause are high. He is a legend of Liverpool. I mean, be that as me, you can say whatever you want to see. Say whatever you want to see. Mohamed Salah, he is the king, or is the Egyptian pharaoh of Liverpool. That I believe. But I mean, it's just that errors will come to an end. Steven Gerrard is no more. Steven Gerrard is no more. The Kite is no more. Jimmy Fowler is no more. I mean, Pepe Reina is no more. You know, Jimmy Carragher is no more. All these people, Michael Owens, all these errors came to an end. You understand my point? So I really don't think that. I mean. Anything errors do come to an end. That is why I've been saying it here time and time again that this Liverpool team is quite young. They are quite inexperienced, and then they've not really played together for that particular long time. So it is time that Ancelotti has to build a new team. You see, all this group of players that Ancelotti won the Premier League with last season, all these philosophies was built by Jurgen Klopp. And then he just came and he followed the same procedure and he won the league.
Yeah, when he came, it was flowing. Compare Mohamed Salah's performance from last season to this season, you could see that Mohamed Salah goals, his assist was absolutely outrageous.
Of course. So that is.
Then, if you have a caliber of player like Mohamed Salah, things are not working out. You look at his runs, you look at his tackles this season. It's much way more than last season.
Okay.
So it's just you could see that.
He's forcing, but the results not coming. So I mean that doesn't matter. Football is all about results.
So, look, what I'm saying is the coach should have a way of dealing with the situation.
But that is my issue. You and I were not there. You're just listening to Mohamed's side of the story. So how then do you come to the conclusion that the coach did not deal with the issue well? That's something I disagree with you on. You understand my point? Every coach has his tactics. At the end of the day, if things are not going well, do you think the board will sack Mohamed Salah? It's the coach that they will sack. So if I have to take any drastic measures,
but then yet he has been benching for a couple of games, but yet it's not working.
Of course, it's not working. So
I want you to understand that Mohamed Salah is also coming out to speak because even upon benching him or without explaining, it's still not working for the club.
Look, this situation happened with Eric Ten Hag and Cristiano Ronaldo when he came back to Real Madrid. But what I want you to understand is that no matter how big a player you are not greater than the club. That's something I want you to understand. And then the head of the club is the coach. So if I think that this decision is a strategic decision, no matter the pedigree or no matter the kind of player you are, I am the coach. You understand my point? So if Salah has a genuine concern, he shouldn't come to the open public and say that I'm in relationship with the coach is breaking, blah 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 blah.
Someone wants him out of the club.
Of course, if you are wanted out of the club, you have to find your way around it. If you come and speak outside the comforts of the club or outside the confines of the club, and then you expect people to welcome you openly in the club, what do you mean? It's a team effort. You understand my point?
So guys, let's see how it's gonna work out, and let's see how things probably might work for Mohamed Salah. Whether he's going out of Liverpool by the end of this season, Monday.
I think I just saw a report by Fabrizio Romano that he's not part of the Liverpool side.
Yeah, because they have Inter Milan to play tomorrow. So today, after tomorrow game, and also on Saturday, he still have last game to play with Liverpool against Brighton before he'll be moving for the African Cup of Nations. So these few days are crucial to determine whether Mohamed Salah will stay at Liverpool.
But for me, I think I'm saying that I hold the view that Salah is one of the greatest players to have ever graced the pitch. But as I said earlier on,
but for me, most of players have treated him in this way. They've actually kept silent. Some of them, it could be that maybe they don't even want him to go for the African Cup of Nations. That's why it actually started this way, because Liverpool is not performing well. But leave it aside. Arsenal, the Gunners, this weekend, and we all thought this was a club that was actually determined to pick the Premier League title this season. But against Aston Villa in the Villa Park, it was total different Arsenal team. This was a team that was finding it very difficult to concede. This was a team that find it very difficult to concede goals and also to break their defensive line. But Aston Villa looked like they were just always scoring in the team.
Okay, so one thing that I would say is that for Aston Villa, when they are wearing the Clary and then they are playing at the Villa Park, it is a completely different ball game. I've said this and I'll say it time again. Look, if you go to somebody's home and then you are playing the person, it's not really you are sitting at the comfort of the house and you are playing the person. So if you watch the game critically, Aston Villa went into the game with a winning mindset. That's look, come what me, we are going to win this game. So they were always attacking. And then what Mikel Arteta's boys were doing was that they just attack and then they defend. Look, and if you do that, you get tired easily. You understand? So you imagine if all your players are attacking and then immediately the ball, the chance or the ball spoils, you have to run back and defend again. So Arsenal was just short-handed. The players were getting tired so easily, and then Aston Villa decided to pounce on them. I don't know for me, I don't know for you. I got a chance to watch the game, and then if you watch the game where when Mikel Arteta made a very tactical change by bringing on Leonardo Trossard, the game changed for quite a couple of minutes, and then later on the pressure switched back on Arsenal. And then Aston Villa should have actually won the game by quite a couple of margins. It was through their own indiscrepancies and then their own stuff. That is why they actually couldn't score more than 2 goals. But the pressure they put on Arsenal actually tells you that, look, they went into the game with a winning mentality just to win the game at the Villa Park. And then I think I'm going to give Unai Emery a very big shout out for what I saw, the tactics that I saw on the pitch the other day. They were all out attacking Arsenal, leaving some of their centre backs behind, and then some of their full backs also behind. So whenever Bukayo Saka is trying to counter on the on the flanks, you see about 2 or 3 people just trying to counter him on the ball. So yes, Unai Emery was very tactical, and the latter part of that is where he decided the game. The pressure was mounted on Arsenal by Aston Villa, and then their number 10, I've forgotten the name, Bundia or something. Bundia actually, you see, that goal was a mishap because it was just this guy plays, and then just one time. And then
one time.
Yeah,
and Arsenal is nowhere to be found.
Oh, but they are still the league leaders.
They are still the league leaders, but with Manchester City, 2 points between Manchester City.
Yes.
City won their game
against Sunderland. Yes.
And before December, Pep Guardiola actually was in his pre-press conference. He made mention that it wasn't still in December. The league is winning in December, and we are not yet in December. So Arsenal fans should not be talking too much. But right now, 2 points between Arsenal and Manchester City. Do you think Arsenal still get the momentum to lift this trophy?
No, for me, I think now it's a close call. But I mean, until the last whistle is blown, you can't actually call the shot. And so this is a game of football. So, but I think now it's a close call with Pep Guardiola's men finding their feet on the field, and then after winning big at home against the Black Cats of Sunderland, it should tell you that if these guys should find, and then do you know one thing that's really funny? It looks as if that in the Premier League, most of the players, the African players, are going to the African Cup in this December. That's 21st December. That will be next week. And for Man City, they have 0 to none African players, with the exception of Umar Mamouche, who plays for Egypt. And I don't even know if he's going to go to the African Cup.
No, definitely he will go.
Okay, so look at if City loses Umar Mamouche, of which they have a depth of. I mean, we all know the depth of City squad.
That Arsenal, which player is going?
Arsenal?
Yeah.
They don't have a depth of African players.
Who is
Really?
African player over there? There's no African player over there.
So it means it's the Sunderlands, the Brightons, and the
Sunderland's, Brightons,
the other teams are going to
have produced for Tottenham.
But Ghana qualifies, so yes.
So that's the fact now. So, but then one thing about Sunderland City, I was really expecting Sunderland to pull City nerves in Etihad Sports Stadium because this is a Sunderland team that has been surprising every top club in Premier League this season, and I guess I told you that they were becoming my favorite in Premier League.
But I think
they really disappointed me. 3 goals to 0.
No, you don't play with Pep Guardiola at his own backyard and expect to make an impact. No,
but a lot of teams won over.
Look, so a lot of teams won probably with Premier League experience. But you don't come with 0 Premier League experience and then expect to beat or near Pep Guardiola in his own backyard. It doesn't work like that. I've told you times of that number that in the game or in the art of football, if there was a painter, Pep Guardiola is Leonardo da Vinci. For me, he's one of the greatest coaches to have ever graced the field. You understand? So you look at a team like Sunderland, who just came from the UEFA Championship, and then you expect to score the Sky Blues at the Etihad Sports Stadium. I really don't think that is something else. I mean, if it were to be some of the Brightons, the West Hams, the Aston Villas, these people have Premier League experience, so it would have been something different. But there's a newly promoted side that has come to the Premier League. I mean, it's been ages since they played the Premier League. Just come to the Premier League and then you come to you want to challenge the title. I don't know, bro. It doesn't work like that. So for me, it was just an easy suit for Manchester City. I mean, playing at home, Gabriel, Phil Foden. But I mean, to be fair, at the latter part, I think Sunderland had a sent off.
Yeah, Sunderland had a sent off. But for me, not to forget, according to Arteta, before the game, he said he was planning to make the selection like the way Jose Mourinho made against Barcelona some years, Chelsea against Barcelona. His lineup came a day before the match, so he's also planning to do that kind of because he's the depth. Everyone knows Arsenal have depth.
Of course, that's true.
After the game against Aston Villa, he said he still finds it very difficult to take that defeat in.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you look at the quality of players individually, Arsenal and then Aston Villa, I mean, you don't expect Arsenal to lose to Aston Villa. No, you don't. You actually don't expect Arsenal to lose to that.
But don't you think their defeat will continue? They will keep on losing.
No, you see,
the likes of Jesus Magalhaes is not on the lineup. He's still injured. Okay. The likes of Saliba is still injured.
Yeah, William Saliba.
He forced Timber and Hikampe to play in the the central defense.
The issue is that's one thing I like about the Premier League. If you lose certain games, if you draw certain games, I don't think after Chelsea, Arsenal has won the Premier League game, have they?
No.
They haven't.
When did they win that? Since 2004.
No. I'm saying after they played Chelsea, where we drew 1-1 with them in the Premier League. Have they won the Premier League game?
I think that was their. No, they won.
Yeah, they won. I think they won one.
I think they won. Yeah.
They won one game before playing. Playing Aston Villa. So look, the Premier League is just that if you are not careful and then you lose a match, people will just go and study that the science behind that match, the tactics that the team used, and then they won the match, and then they will come back, they will replicate or duplicate the same tactics, and they will score you. But I know that Mikel Arteta is a protege of the greatest of all time, Pep Guardiola. So he would actually, evolve some tactics and then some strategies in order to make Arsenal win, regardless of the depth that they have. The players should have the ability to adapt. Once they begin to adapt, I think everything will be good for Arsenal. But for me, I still think they are one of the title contenders.
They are one of the title contenders. But then Chelsea disappointed me this weekend.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I think after this, since Pep Guardiola actually praised Enzo Maresca for like he's one of the best coaches in the world currently because the way he took Chelsea team from nowhere, and then after that praise from Pep Guardiola, after the Maresca haven't won.
I think I
lost against Leeds United, went to the Vintage Park. And then lost against Bournemouth again. What is really going on with Chelsea?
I think what we have to actually see is that the Chelsea team is still in transition. We will never say that the team is weak because this averagely a very young and inexperienced team. They're just trying to find their gel together. So sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. You understand? This is a game of football. We don't expect to win anyway. But the issue comes when Maresca actually makes some tactical errors in the game. You present a team against Barcelona, you win, you dominate the game so much, and then you win very convincingly. Went to the next game against a very lesser opponent, and then you change the entire squad and change the tactics. Then you go into the game, you lose. You go into the next game, instead of you to adopt a different tactics and then a different approach, you go into the same game with the same tactics and the same approach, and then you lose the game. You draw the game too. So I think that the issue is not with the team because you all understand that the team is, conveniently young, they're inexperienced. You understand? So it all boils down to strategy and tactics. Enzo Maresca has to be ingenious. He has to bring the best out of the boys. He has to create the tactics, the forms, the skills and everything that will fit the place and the style of play and help him achieve his goals. But a draw against Bournemouth at the Vintage Park, I still can't find my head around it. But I think it's all for the
for the past 8 games or 8 meetings against Bournemouth, Chelsea have really been winning those games. So I don't know what actually happened.
But
is it because they missed Caicedo in the midfield?
I think that's also plays a very pivotal role. You see, when your star man is midfield in the game of football, the most important part is the midfield. If that part breaks, your entire machinery, your entire system is down flat. You understand my point? And then Moyes, this current season has actually been holding the pieces together. So if he's not present within the game, you can feel that there's a mighty oak missing in the Chelsea's midfield. So I think that's what plays a very pivotal role as to why we lost against Leeds at the Elland Road and then at the Vintage Park against AFC Bournemouth.
Then that is absolutely very, very, very difficult. But then a London derby on Saturday actually took Tottenham to a win. These few days, I think this is their first London derby win in this season. They faced the likes of Chelsea, they lost that game. Arsenal, they lost that game. Fulham, they lost it. And majority of them in Tottenham Sports Stadium. So on Saturday, I was expecting them to actually lose this game against Brentford, but then in the end they had to make it happen, and Xavi Simons scored his first Premier League goal for Tottenham. What do you make up of his performance in that game, and what do you expect or project for Xavi Simons in the Premier League?
One of the things that I've actually realized is that consistency is a very big issue in the Premier League. For you to be consistent, it's big. You have to be extremely good. You have to work extremely hard.
But with this season, it looks like he has been tagged as someone who lost confidence in himself.
Yes.
And what would that goal mean for him?
I think probably it will just ignite some passion in him, that this can be the start of many things. All that, so most of the times, all that you need is that a particular age, and then you can, go on Mark Vita to do a lot of things. So I think Thomas Frank needs to go back to the drawing board. I don't think this is the beginning of anything. This is just, for me, I think this was just luck for them to win this game. Because if you look at Tottenham's past games, they've really been poor, especially in the Premier League. They've really been poor. So this was just probably hard luck and home advantage on that side. They should go back to the drawing board and then bring proper strategies in order for them to win. Arsenal, for me, Arsenal is one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. So they have to go back to the drawing board and bring better strategies in order for them to win games. Because this, but by the way, their performance was actually stunning. Mohamed Kudus was really exceptional that day, and then Xavi Simons provided that. I think we have to give credit to Richarlison too. That was a very fantastic game. Yeah, he had a very fantastic game that day.
He had a very fantastic game for sure. And let me.
I think he had a very fantastic game that day. So, yes, that's Richarlison and then Tottenham Hotspurs.
Richarlison and Tottenham Hotspur. But talking about Premier League and La Liga. La Liga this weekend was absolutely like something I didn't expect.
I think we've said this.
Barcelona.
Yeah, but Barca
won their game and
against
they have extended the lead by 4 points on the league table because Real Madrid yesterday performed woefully against Celta Vigo.
So
and believe me, this was a history formed by Celta Vigo since 1977. Since 1977,
they've never beaten Real Madrid.
Vigo never won a game against Real Madrid in Santiago Bernabeu. And yesterday was absolutely incredible performance by Celta Vigo. Real Madrid was lost in the game. The likes of Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo came on. It wasn't. Valverde. I don't know what is actually wrong with Real Madrid in this game.
I think I've said it here actually that if you're a coach, okay, and then you are being invited by a particular board to come and coach a particular team, one of the first things you should ask yourself is that, is this team not bigger than me? I've told you times without number that in my perspective, in my vivid opinion, I really think that Real Madrid is bigger than Xabi Alonso, even though he's one of their legends. But the team is here, he is there. You understand my point? So he's finding it very difficult to bring all these talents together and actually yield results. Because if you look at the Real Madrid team, I don't see a reason why a struggling Celta Vigo should come and beat one of the Galacticos of European football at their very own backyard in the Bernabeu in Spain. You understand my point? So what is actually wrong with the team is that I think they have issues with man management. And that is where I feel that Xabi Alonso is actually not really performing. Because if you're a coach, you need to manage you don't need you only don't need tactics to win the game. You need to manage people too. You understand my point? So that is why I think he's failing as a coach. And if he should get the numbers right, if he should be able to get the people right and work together, I think Real Madrid is going to bounce back. For now,
the likes of Militao had injury in the early game, and Rudiger actually came on. Okay. We all know when it comes to defensive, Real Madrid have a lot of also injuries in the defensive phase. You look at their left back and right back; it's not their usual starters who are actually playing that position. Yesterday, Militao, who came back not long ago, still got injured and went out. But with Celta Vigo, Real Madrid should have done better. Vinicius was lost in the game. Mbappe was lost, who keep on scoring for Real Madrid. Yesterday wasn't at his best. What can Xavi Alonso do aside from the man management?
I think he should also revise his tactics. That's what I think, because if you play a particular style and then you're not getting the needed results that you want to get, you ought to get, one of the things you have to do is that you have to go back to the drawing board and change the tactics. If you are using tactics A and then it's not working, use tactics B, because I mean there are a lot of tactics in the world where you can use. You understand my point? And besides, I'm not going to fault him too much. This is his first season at this big club, so probably he's just finding his feet. You understand my point? And then it's a phase he will get through it.
Do you think maybe the transition that he has made, because at Leverkusen he was using back three, and we all know back five or back three, whichever way it is.
I mean,
but going to Real Madrid, he has tried that formation, it wasn't working. He tried so many formations that wasn't working, and he now settled with that 4-1 formation, and it looks like it was working until Celta Vigo caught them real-handed by 2-0.
So that's
but do you think with that goals the two red cards play an impact with Celta Vigo winning that game.
Of course, if I'm playing with a numerical disadvantage, that is definitely that plays a very pivotal part in me losing the game. You understand? You are playing with 11 men. I'm playing with probably 9 men. So if you have a greater numerical advantage over me, definitely there's a possibility that I will lose the game. But what I think the problem of Real Madrid is now is character and then man management. This particular group of players, they don't really have character, because we've seen a lot of players play for Real Madrid. We've seen the likes of Sergio Ramos, we've seen the likes of Raúl González, we've seen the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, we've seen the likes of Ronaldo de Lima, Roberto Carlos, Dani Carvajal, Iker Casillas, these players really had character. But if you look at this current crop of players that are playing for Real Madrid, for me, that's from where I sit. The likes of Edler Militao, Antonio Rudiger. This guy, Gio Camavinga. I really think they lack character a little bit. And if Xabi Alonso is going to be stringent on man management, I think he's going to use better results for him. That's the issue. I think it's man management. Yeah. And then on the front of FC Barcelona, I think they're also just putting the pieces together after
but then when defeat. You look at Barcelona, yes. Lewandowski has not been on form this season. He has been very, very difficult. But it looks like Ferran Torres have actually picked form this season. And last game, he had a hat-trick in that game. With Lamine Yamal, who has scored for a long time, also had a goal. Being on top with 4 points leading the table, how does it look moving forward for Barcelona?
If they can keep up with that is why I say that in football, consistency is very difficult. If they can keep on with the consistency, then it's really going to be good for them. I think they can keep it up. But if they don't, if they're not consistent, that is where the issues will come in. And the league is not far. We've not really gone far into that the neck of matches. There's still a lot of matches to be played. So if today you lead by 4 points and then tomorrow you draw, and then Real Madrid wins, if Real Madrid wins 2 matches and then Barca draws 2 matches, Madrid will be the league leader. You understand my point? So if you want to actually lead the league and then win it, you have to be consistent. It is a consistency that will win Barcelona the league. And then I think for their past 2 games, what I've seen, I've seen consistency at their side. So should Hansi Flick and the boys at the Catalan actually continue on this, I really think it's going to be a long season for Real Madrid. And the person I'm really disappointed in is Diego Simeone, for actually taking all these huge amounts of money in the world and still not being able to deliver the league. I don't think, have they in the last 15 years?
Oh, they've won the league. That was before Suarez left the club. That was last 3 seasons or so, or last 4 seasons. Last 3 seasons or so. They've won it with Suarez before he left there for America. But let's we are almost getting to ending. But then let's run through the Champions League coming this.
To here at the Home Affairs, I think we should also congratulate Hasfal over their illustrious win over Werder Bremen. I think home at the at the Volkspark. Volkspark. Yeah, they won over Werder Bremen by 3-2. That was a very wonderful display. The highest foul, yes. And I think Zampoli is. These are the 2 biggest clubs in Hamburg, and Zampoli is struggling a little bit to win games. Yeah, but HSV is putting Hamburg on the map in the German Bundesliga. So yes, a very big congratulations to HSV. But it's very worrying if Bayern Munich keeps on dominating the league every year.
No, that one you can't stop it. They are still playing and beating as we speak right now in the Bundesliga. So it's downhill for sure. And Champions League coming your way next this week, midweek. Yeah. If you are not champion, you can't be there. Yeah. So a lot of teams are actually going on for sure. It looks like Bayern will be Bayern will be hosting Sporting CP.
That's a dead match.
Yeah. So we have the likes of Karat Almaty against Olympiacos. We have Atalanta versus Chelsea.
That
Chelsea
is-
will be traveling to Italy.
Italy, yeah.
And we also have Barcelona hosting Frankfurt.
Oh, okay. I think that will be the spectacle of the evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Inter will be hosting.
That will be the spectacle of the Bayer Leverkusen against Barcelona.
Yeah, we have Inter also hosting Liverpool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Inter Milan
Inter Milan, yeah.
hosting Liverpool.
Liverpool, yeah, tomorrow.
So,
Yeah,
where at the San Siro?
Yeah, at the San Siro. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we have Monaco, Galatasaray.
Oh,
we also have
that will be. You see, for that particular game, Monaco against Galatasaray, there is a little bit of geopolitical issue, but we'll talk about it the other time.
We have PSV Eindhoven versus Atletico Madrid.
Oh, so it means the Dutch against the Spaniards.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we also have Tottenham will be facing Slavia Praga.
Oh, okay.
And then we also have Saint Gilos
Yeah.
versus Marseille.
Okay.
Saint Paulton will also be facing Juventus
You will.
as well, and Arsenal FC 20.
FC20.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have PSG will be facing. Is it Loving or what was it? On heavily. Or I don't know where they are actually from.
This is
But
Champions League for you.
Real Madrid will be facing Wolfsburg. But the interesting thing is the match that I want us to talk match is coming on Wednesday, which is Real Madrid will be hosting Manchester City.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in this current form, for me, I know the the mathematicians will give the odds to the Manchester City. That is, I mean, statistically.
This is Santiago Bernabeu.
So no,
once again.
I'm coming. So this we are talking about statistics. I'll come to the magic of football. So statistically, Manchester City is in a better position to win this game. But we are talking about the Galacticos of European football.
European football, yeah.
This is the Santiago Bernabeu, and anything can happen. But if Arsenal has showed me anything, for the last season, nothing will happen at Santiago Bernabeu. Not with Xabi Alonso as a head coach anyway.
But this season, are they not doing better than last season?
In the Champions League.
Yes, in the Champions League.
Oh, come on.
Last season they had to go and play playoff.
Of course, but
this season, you
have
look
you
at their
know?
position.
Did you not see their last struggle to win their last game?
But that's what I'm saying. That I'm comparing this season to last season.
Okay, and then so yes, probably they are doing well, but you have to check about the pedigree of team that they are playing against. They're not playing against FC20. Neither are they playing against Bayer Leverkusen. They are playing against the sky blue of Manchester.
But Manchester City with Pep Guardiola this season, there are some matches too you expected them to go in and make it.
So
a
if
big deal, but it has not been working.
Of course, so if you are going to compare form to form, Manchester City against Real Madrid on paper, and we are going to be purely dealing with statistics, you really think Madrid has an upper hand in this game? This season, pure statistics. We are not going to include the magic of football. I know for football anything can happen.
But you know, sometimes when a big clubs are actually facing, it's total different ball game.
Of course, that is what we call the magic of football.
Exactly.
You understand? So that is why I'm saying that. With the magic of football aside, I know anything can happen in football. Real Madrid, when they are playing, when the blue lights are on, and then the Champions League teams are playing, it is a different ball game together for all of them. You understand? But if you are comparing player to player, form to form, the statistics of football on the actual ground, I really don't think Real Madrid has a chance against Manchester City. Because if you could lose a game to a relegation team like Otabil in the Spanish top divisions, I don't think you stand a chance against the champions of England. I really don't think so.
So you think? What's your
For me,
scoreline prediction?
I can't predict the scoreline, but I know it's going to be a win for Manchester City.
It's going to be a win for Manchester City.
Yeah, straight up.
Okay, so Kofi, we have a Champions League draw last week.
World Cup.
A World Cup draw last week,
Yeah.
and it was absolutely fantastic for sure. A lot of people are actually excited with looking at their countries, draw with other countries, particularly Ghana. We have the likes of England, Croatia,
Panama.
and Panama.
If on paper qualification, I mean, one would just assume that the two European teams will qualify and then Ghana will settle for the third position.
Why everyone is underestimating Panama?
I mean, that is you see in football terms. If you're talking about the FIFA Coca-Cola ranking, there's no way you rank Panama over Ghana. No, they've not been to any major competition. They've not really left a mark on the world stage with regards to football.
You remember 2006 Ghana first World Cup?
Yeah.
They were the underdogs, but then what happened in the competition?
In 2006.
2006, yeah.
Yeah, Ghana still didn't qualify out of the group stages.
But then you look at the performance over there.
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
exactly. So,
but no. You see,
Ghana still drew against Italy, yeah, or they won against.
No. We drew. I think we won against Czech Republic.
We drew against Italy.
Yeah. But look, my point is that I'm not really talking about performance. People like to talk performance. Football is about results. I don't really get any results. Qualify. That is important. For the rest, nobody really cares about it. How you play, nobody really cares about it. Understand my point? So for me, that is just an assumption because Croatia, in the last 2 World Cups, they've been in one semi. I think they've been in one semi. Europe, they've been at the final of the Euros. They really dominated. In the last 5 years, they've left their mark on the world stage. England in 2018 was at the semis of the World Cup, and they just ended Euros. They were at the finals, and they only lost to, I think they lost to Spain. Yeah, one of the 2 of the subsequent Euros before this one. You understand my point? So, if you look at the teams and then their performance, on paper we are not really fit to play them. But once again, as I said, the goals of football will actually work their magic, and anything can happen.
So let me just run through the group. Then probably we'll take it.
I think that's one everybody has a glimpse of that. So everybody knows.
But at least South Africa, with most of the African countries, maybe we are still waiting for.
I think the reason why FIFA actually said Mexico should play South Africa is just to reminisce the days of 2010 World Cup. When South Africa hosted, they played against Mexico. I remember that goal from Chabalala.
Yeah. I remember that one. The first, it was the opener of the tournament.
Yeah. So
a very fantastic shot away from a great shot.
Of course. Yeah. And then in 2026, those 2 nations will play in the opening game. So I think that's going to be history. And then for those of us who are,
I think this is the first time Ghana is actually drawing in a group that US is not in there. Yeah.
But in 2022, US was not in our group.
2022.
Yeah, in Qatar, US was.
US didn't qualify.
Yeah, okay, they didn't qualify. In 2006, US was not in our group. So that's not far from that. But I think our game against England will be the first game we have on a competitive level. The one that we played against them, where Samoa equalized in the last minutes, was just a friendly. It wasn't any competitive game. So this game at the World Cup will be the first one, and then the geopolitics that will be involved is, that's why I love football. It's more than just a game. It writes a story. It writes an art. The geopolitics that will involve between the 2 nations, Ghana and England, our shared history, our shared connections, and our shared people. So we can't wait for the World Cup to actually kickstart, and then we wait for the surprises. So actually, it's been a wonderful time joining you.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful time joining me. It's been a wonderful time joining us here. And then, guys, that is it for sure. And that is it. If you just join us and you are new, you know how we do it. Hit the subscription button, like and share the video. Your opinions are highly welcome. I see you on TikTok for sure. And hey, we are taking it to the end of the show. We're going to see you in the next show on Monday, same time. And hey, stay blessed. This is the beginning of the week, and you know how we do it. Everything is all about being healthy and making yourself available to all things possible. See you next week. And hey, we could not read your comments on Facebook and also on YouTube. We are going to do that next week for sure. At least you could forgive us for delaying a little bit. There was some kind of technicality that we needed to sort out. See you next week for sure. Ciao.